All right, people, here's a little quick Manly Hall excerpt that I found on I had to rewind it, and I think I found a pretty good starting point, about taking accountability for our own actions. This is a really good one, so I'll just give you a few minutes of it.
The only answer as to what our problems are today is the realization that the individual is the element of the cause and the actual element of the cure. The individual has to do it. Now we may say that that's a long, slow process. It is, because we are so late in getting started at it. But it still remains that nearly every corruption or abuse of society can be corrected if private citizens do not contribute to that abuse or refuse to sustain it. Instead of trying to get something voted in by a group that will never be able to make it work even if they vote it in, if the individual who doesn't like something sacrifices any pleasures he may get from this abuse and stands firmly for principles that are correct, we will find that in integrity we have the only answer to our problem. But at the moment, integrity is in short supply. Very much so. Nearly every factor that we know in society today is compromising integrity.
Yes, sir.
It is choosing rather the course of least resistance. Integrity to many people means poverty. To many other people it means frustration. Integrity means the dismal and incredibly hard thing of doing what is right. This is just too much for the average individual to contemplate. And even if he doesn't wish to contemplate, he feels he has a vicarious excuse. Why should he work so hard when no one else is? When his neighbors are all exploiting each other, why should he be the only one who does not make something out of it? So the compromises go on and on and on. But the integrity of the person is the one thing that no dictator can stand against, that no corrupt system can change. The mass of humanity is the vox populi. It is the voice of God. And if it speaks correctly, problems will be solved. But if it keeps quiet and continues to cater to problems, they will never be solved. All over the world today, aggressive leaders, dictators, and so forth, are destroying people.
Amen.
They are corrupting ethical systems. They are tearing down religious convictions. They are doing everything possible to make the private citizen helpless. They want to take away from him any security of his own inner life and make him completely dependent upon a highly organized society which has the power to destroy him at any moment it chooses.
Now let's just pause it right there for a minute, people. This is just, I haven't listened to this whole thing. That's as far as I've listened to it. But, I just have to comment on that. It is so, this was recorded in probably the 70s or 80s. Could have even been the 60s. But it couldn't have been later than the 80s. And if he only knew what we were really in for, just to think back that long ago and to think the things that they discussed back then, taking accountability for our own actions, everything he says is so true right there. And I don't know. Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to finish this.
Now, this is not possible to the person who really intends to do something with his own life. And I think for those who are religiously oriented and philosophically inclined, we must recognize the importance of at least a moderate effort to release ourselves from the despotism of our own appetites. If we do not do this, one of these days it's going to be too late, at least for this culture. We're going to destroy something we've been thousands of years building. And a lot of people today are of the opinion that it cannot be prevented, that this destruction is going to come. It is going to come as long as we are looking for perfect leadership to carry us out of it. What we have to look for is the power within ourselves to defend our own integrities against the pressure of circumstances.
So that's it. I mean, I'll go on and see what else I can find, and if something comes up that I really dig, then I'll put it on. But man, that one just really says it for me. That stuff is, that's that's the perception. That's exactly how I feel. People need to take accountability for our own actions. We like to complain and this and that, and ultimately it comes down to the person. We can veto all the bills we want, but good words to live by. Namaste.